Coy Raymond, Sean Spencer, Jay Bateman no longer with the program. And Napier did speak on the defensive staff changes and was asked, what was the tipping point? And he did say, I think part of the evaluation was just that we need to play better on that side of the ball. We go through a process to evaluate what we need to do better. Sometimes that's new leadership, a new voice, a new teacher, a different approach in recruiting, whatever the case may be. I think we were able to answer some of those things. That's pretty interesting. I'll pause that quote there. I think that's pretty interesting. It does seem like he's probably looking back at those names that I just mentioned who are no longer with the program. New leadership, a new voice, a new teacher, a different approach in recruiting, whatever the case may be. And I think we were able to answer some of those things. I find that pretty interesting. I mean, I think that certainly seems that was the thought process of getting rid of Coy Raymond and Sean Spencer. And then he does go on to mention, and then Jay got a chance to be a coordinator again. So we went and we were able to get one of the better defensive coaches in the country back on our staff. I think that's Ron Roberts, by the way. I think we've done well so far. So good. We went through a very extensive process to land where we landed with Will Harris and Gerald Chapman, both of which I think have proven to be what we thought they were. Really good teachers. I think they've got character. I do think they have passion for people. They care for a player independent of the game. Great families and pedigree. They've been around good coaching. They know what it looks like. They've coached at the highest level, coached at the Power 5 level. I think they've done a good job connected with the staff and the players so far. That was from Billy Napier. So I think you got those new hires coming in, but of course, Billy Napier mentioned Ron Roberts coming back, or not back, but back on staff with him. Of course, hasn't been at Florida before. But Ron Roberts coming in, a trusted voice for Billy Napier. I think that goes a long way, and I think we'll go a long way in helping Billy Napier as well. We'll get into that in just a second. But he was asked, Billy Napier, about the collaboration between Austin Armstrong and Ron Roberts, and something we'll get into some actual sound for Billy Napier. Instead of me, look, I only get 3. I'll follow the rules Florida puts out there for the media. I'll only roll like 3 minutes of actual Billy Napier press conference, but I'll give you quotes from the rest of it. But we've wondered about the relationship and how it would work. Austin Armstrong, Ron Roberts. Austin Armstrong, the defensive coordinator last year, looked to be the defensive coordinator this year. It is going to be. But some weird things happening at Auburn. Ron Roberts leaves, comes to Florida after some opening with Jay Bateman leaving. You got some room on the defensive side of the ball for the coaching staff, and then Ron Roberts comes over and he gets that title of defensive head coach. So Billy Napier does go on to say it's phenomenal. You think about Ron Roberts and what he brings to the table, veteran coach, been a head coach, been a coordinator and a play caller. Austin and him, there's a mentor type relationship there. A ton of respect, mutual respect on both sides. So I think we get the wisdom. This system, there's a number of coaches. You guys will obviously write the story at some point, but this guy's mentored 1 million defensive coaches in his career, some of which are coordinator, play callers in the NFL and college football. So I think it's a positive because I think the system that we run, Ron started that system at Louisiana. The first 2 years we were there, kind of got it up and running. It's evolved, and the guys that have been running it worked for him in the past. So I think whether it was Patrick Toney, who's now in the NFL, or Austin, Jay Bateman's in that tree of coaches, they call him the OG, the Godfather, whatever you want to call him. We get him back in the building, and he's going to make us better. He'll make the players better. His guys have always been productive. The guys that he coaches and the coaches and the units that he coaches. So there's a track record of really good defense, and we're fortunate to have him. So, guys, we've wondered, how would it work? How would this relationship work? How would it work during the season? How would it work on game day? We got that answer. We got that answer from Billy Napier today. Talks about the relationship of Roberts and Armstrong and how it will work.
Head coach for the defense, basically a guy who oversees, that side of the ball to some degree. Austin obviously is the coordinator, calls the plays and runs the unit meetings, but we're getting a guy who can coach the coaches, who can approve the installation, the game plans that, really can get the best of that side of the ball. Essentially, he's the head coach of the defense to some degree, so, and I think the coordinator relationship there is one that's, those guys they're loving life right now, So they're both ball guys. And let me say, we've got Mike Peterson in that room, Will Harris in that room, Gerald Chapman in that room. We promoted Callie James, who's a graduate assistant. He's kind of the assistant defensive line coach and is going to help us with the hybrid players. It's a good room, and I think they're in a good place. They're excited to work together.
Now Napier mentioned, we go back to an earlier statement. Napier mentioned making hires that help him to put his efforts in the right place, and this is one of them. You could tell there's a lot of trust in Roberts from Napier, and look, Austin Armstrong was learning on the job last season. Perhaps, I think we could definitely see needs more seasoning in the SEC, needs more guidance, and Napier probably wasn't the best fit for that, given all of his other responsibilities. So this hire of Ron Roberts can basically be the literal title that Ron Roberts has, head coach of the defense. And Napier just hands it over to him while he can concentrate in other areas of the offense, recruiting, other areas of being a head coach and such. So I think this is a big hire. I don't think it can be overlooked. I still wonder, there was the explanation. He'll be really involved in the game planning. Armstrong will still be the play caller on game days, but seems to me like it will run through Roberts. Now, it is kind of a weird dynamic here. I've seen the term babysitter thrown out there, and hey, look, maybe that's what's needed. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, granted, it looks bad when you hire Austin Armstrong, and then a year later, you've got to possibly do something like this to save him. But at the same time, at least you're not standing by. At least you're not just, hey, look, if you in the back of your mind, you still wonder if Austin Armstrong is ready. Now, maybe this just falls in your lap. Now, whatever happened with Ron Roberts and Auburn, if it never happened, would a move like this have happened? I don't know. We probably were just looking at Austin Armstrong being the defensive coordinator by himself on that side of the ball, and everything's going how we thought it would go in early January. But this falls in your lap. You find a way to upgrade your staff, and you make the move. So it doesn't matter if it's a babysitter. It doesn't matter what term you want. If this makes Florida better, you make the move. And as I say, I think it throws another person on the staff that Billy Napier can trust. And Billy Napier can not have to care so much about the defense. Well, not necessarily not care, but give so much attention to the defense and has someone there that he can trust in fixing it. So a big-time hire, I just think, for Billy Napier's sake and trust in the staff. DC says, I see a defense head coach and a DC makes it more confusing. Yeah, I mean, and maybe we won't truly know what goes on during the week and what goes on game day. I don't care. Just work. Just make it work. I don't care what the roles are. As long if I see Florida start holding opponents to 17 points a game, 20 points a game, I don't care how it works. I don't care if you want to label a babysitter. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. Just work. Fix this defense.